All right, welcome everyone. We are so excited to chat with you about things you haven't been told when it comes to cleansing.
There's a lot of misinformation
There's
out
a lot
there.
of misinformation out there. So I'm Molly and this is Sierra, and we are certified Ayurvedic practitioners as well as the founders of Cultivate Balance. And we're really here to build individual and collective resilience through Ayurvedic lifestyle design as a key strategy for growing our capacity to embody the just and sustainable world that we know is possible. So that's kind of a mouthful, but our ethos is really that if we take care of ourselves, we have more energy and clarity to show up for others, be that our family, our community, our work, our purpose. And so really there is this ripple out effect that is the key strategy that helps us create and embody a more just and sustainable world. So we believe that Ayurveda is a real stepping stone to creating that. And we're so excited to share that lens with all of you as we chat more about cleansing.
Yes. So as we've already mentioned, there's a lot of misinformation out there about cleansing. It has been totally oversimplified and also commodified in a way that can be really counterproductive and potentially even harmful. But fortunately, we have a lot of really powerful information coming through the lens of Ayurveda that can help set the record straight and help us understand how to really take care of ourselves with cleansing in a really deep and meaningful way. So today, in 45 minutes, we are going to cover 10 things that we believe you haven't been told about cleansing. And real quick, I'm just going to tell you what they are straight up, and then we're going to dive into each one of them. Okay. So the first thing we're going to cover is that cleansing does not have to be about deprivation, shame, or control. Whew. Let it go. Number two, you don't need harsh, expensive supplements, powders, or even like specific combinations of juices to cleanse, to detox. Third, not all toxins come from outside your body. Our bodies are actually creating toxins inside. So we'll talk about what that looks like. Your body will signal when it's time for a cleanse and what to look for. We're going to tell you exactly what to look for so that you know when your body is creating those internal toxins. Number 5 is you have a sacred internal engine that powers your ability to cleanse effectively. Your body's own capacity to cleanse itself is already within you. Number 6, certain times of year are best for effective cleansing. Not a lot of people know that. Number 7, the transition out of a cleanse is just as important, if not more important, than the cleanse itself. Keep that in mind.
Huge.
Number 8, you cannot have an effective cleanse without a commitment to rest and slowing down. Major, can't be running around. Number 9, it's important to cleanse for the right reasons. And we'll talk about some of what we would maybe say the wrong reasons are, and then give you what we believe to be some of the right reasons. And then we'll just touch on how cleansing with Ayurveda is different. So get ready. We're going to go on a ride for the next 40 minutes.
All right. So the first point that we want to chat about, cleansing does not have to be about deprivation, shame, or control. This one is huge because probably a lot of us grew up in like peak 90s culture, fat-free, like Atkins diet, I don't know, all of that. And it doesn't have to be like that. In fact, cleansing is an opportunity to care for ourselves. It doesn't have to be about shrinking ourselves or about control. It's not about making ourselves smaller. You can actually think of it more of as a decluttering of the body, which is just like something that we need to do periodically. And it's like you declutter your house, not necessarily because you have to, but because it's an act of care. It makes your space feel better. It makes you feel better when the clutter is gone. Cleansing is like a decluttering, and it's an opportunity for care. It's also a way to cultivate, through this lens of care, it's a way to cultivate more self-awareness, more pleasure, more gratitude, and more satisfaction. It also reinvigorates the mind, which leads to clarity of perception and can actually create space for deep spiritual reflection. But that only happens if we are moving from a place of care. If you go into a cleanse from a very rigid and controlled place, you're not going to give yourself the space to have this more spiritual, emotional, elevated decluttering, if you will.
Yes.
And when we come from a place of care, we're also more able to integrate a full spectrum of cleansing practices. We're more inspired to do body care rituals, to go beyond the realm of food and into the realm of ritual, which is where the real magic happens when it comes to effective cleansing.
Yes. Okay, so number 2, you don't need harsh, expensive supplements or powders to detox. So a lot of these mainstream cleansing protocols involve temporary starvation, so deprivation, and then the harsh, expensive supplements and powders. And when I say harsh, I mean substances that are internally rough and scraping. And ultimately, those can deplete the tissues, especially when they're used in an ongoing way, and especially if they're used for the wrong constitution, which so many mainstream cleansing protocols are not addressing your unique constitution, right? So yeah, you don't need the expensive supplements, the powders, or even specific miracle juices, right? Like a lot of times there are wellness influencers talking about a certain combination of like lemon juice and cayenne pepper and celery and certain juices that are said to be the thing that will detox your body.
As if it's a one size fits all model anyway, right?
Right. And this way of detoxing doesn't lead to lasting results, and it can actually really lead to depletion. And that can just cause more harm. You know, the other thing about this is that so many of those cleanses that are being peddled in terms of like, take this supplement or these juices are expensive. And you result in more sensitivity than you had before. And that's something that we'll come back to. Like, there's an actual potential to cause harm when you're using these harsh, like I said, scraping or damaging substances that can really de-line the digestive tract. So the alternative to cleansing in that way is to really leverage an appropriate and simple diet that simply gives your digestive system a break. And the reason why that works is because more energy can go toward actually healing your tissues rather than breaking down all of these complex foods that we're so often eating. So when I mention a simple diet, what does that mean? We're talking about like dosha appropriate. So for your constitution, juices, broth, cooked vegetables of a variety, cooked with digestive spices and a healthy fat, like ghee, which is essentially a clarified butter, which has really amazing healing properties like lubricating the digestive tract. And then basmati rice and mung beans. These are all really beautiful, simple foods that allow your body to have a break so that it can actually, its own detoxification process can arise within. Another key aspect, of course, is hydration. This is the mechanism by which toxins are dislodged and carried out through your channels. And it's really like warm water and herbal tea. The warmth of the water helps to actually soften and allows your cells to just absorb that hydration in a more powerful way. So it's really about eating whole foods more than it is about all these harsh substances.
Mm-hmm. And when you're buying whole foods, it's much more affordable and accessible than ordering a ton of supplements and fancy powders.
That's right. And the reason why this type of cleansing works is because, as I've already mentioned, toxins are often created internally. And that happens when the digestive system is not functioning optimally. When the digestive system is not functioning optimally, a metabolic waste is created in the digestive tract. Mm-hmm. This metabolic waste, which our own bodies generate, is a thick, heavy physical substance. And this physical substance, which we call ama in Ayurveda, is not accepted into the tissues as nourishment, and it actually begins to clog the vital channels of the body that are responsible for everything from elimination to cellular communication. So it's really problematic and actually becomes the common factor in the cause of disease. And it's really the secret culprit to so much of the heaviness that we might feel, whether that's lethargy, brain fog, any of these sort of like triggers that we have that have us kind of know that we might want to cleanse. And just a quick note that other factors aside from that internal metabolic, well, aside from the undigested foods, there are other factors that can lead to this internal metabolic waste, like environmental and occupational toxins, as well as stress, grief, or grind culture, just working too hard. So again, just simply by giving ourselves a gentle break, our bodies are allowed to rise to their optimum level of functioning, which is a self-cleansing organism. We are actually a self-cleansing organism.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, your body will signal when it's time for a cleanse. So here's how you can tell if you have internal toxins building up in your body. You'll notice that you have a thick white coating on your tongue, a sense of stagnant or low energy. You might have a feeling of heaviness in the body or the mind that could also lead to brain fog or inability to think clearly. You might notice foul smelling gas or burps, frequent bad breath or a bad taste in your mouth, indigestion, often in the form of low appetite or even nausea. Constipation or diarrhea can both show up when there's internal toxins in the body. Low libido is another sign that there could be toxic buildup, body aches or malaise, and just like an overall feeling of uncleanliness is kind of that intuitive sense that like it's time, something is off, my body is not functioning at its best. So your body will signal to you when it's time for a cleanse. And those are some ways that you'll be able to tell.
Yeah. And fortunately, as number 5, we have the reminder for you that you have a sacred internal engine that powers your ability to cleanse effectively. So once you have tuned in and you have noticed that you're having some of those symptoms that Molly just mentioned, you know it is time to bolster that sacred internal engine, which is your body's natural ability. It's your body's natural equipment to process anything that we put into it. So in Ayurveda, this sacred internal, what we're calling engine, we call Agni. Now, Agni is your internal fire, and it's actually named after the Vedic god of fire. That's why we say it's sacred, because it really is this internal capacity that we have to digest, but really transform and assimilate anything that we take into our bodies. Now, when our Agni, or our digestive fire, is burning steadily, our digestion is comfortable, our cells are nourished, and our body is, as I mentioned, that self-cleansing organism, that organism that can transform anything that we put into it, even things that are difficult, like pizza. It's always our example because we love pizza. But when your Agni, your digestive fire, is inhibited, food is only partially digested, and it cannot be transformed into that optimal energy. That is what becomes ama. That's what begins to ferment and becomes that rancid internal metabolic waste. So you're starting to get the hint here that the goal of cleansing is really to support that internal fire, that Agni, to work optimally to clear toxins on its own. And only then will you experience the ongoing benefits of cleansing, such as restored energy and clarity, easeful digestion, and enhanced immune function. So many of these things that are touted as the benefits of cleansing, but again, that you will not get simply by taking, a random amalgamation of substances that may be too harsh.
That's right. All right. Number 6, there are certain times of the year that are best for most effective cleansing. So let's talk about when to detox. Cleansing is actually not recommended at just any time throughout the year that it occurs to you that you might like to have a cleanse. Even if you start to notice some of those signs that your body is calling for a cleanse, you're going to want to wait until one of these peak times during the year when the body is most primed to release. So those times are the seasonal transitions of spring and of fall. So right around the 2 equinoxes, that's the best time to purge excess doshas as well as toxins, ama, that have accumulated over the previous months, because in the spring and fall, those toxins have actually started to ripen and they're going to be more ready to release from the body. So during the fall, cleansing is really about purifying excess pitta, the fire element, and rekindling digestive fire that may have diminished as the body worked to expel heat throughout the summer. Can you read the next one?
Yes. And then during the spring, we cleanse to reinvigorate the digestive fire. And this is a counterbalance to kapha. Kapha is that earth element. And so it's that cool, heavy, damp element. And it accumulates over the winter. So in the spring, that's what we're working to release. Now, the final piece when it comes time to think about what time to cleanse or schedule your cleanse is to think about when you can carve out time and space, ideally around 4 weeks in your schedule. This wants to be a time when you're able to really take some time, take a break, slow down for at least like 2 weeks, and really ideally take 2 or 3 to 5 days off of work entirely. Really, because, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but it's really important that you're actually able to rest so that your body can do the work, right? This isn't, again, it's not about just putting in the inputs and just expecting our body to cleanse itself. This is really about actually creating the space so that your body can do that work on its own, that generative cleansing work. So the other piece of that might be great is to sync up with a group for accountability. When you're thinking about carving out a time for effective cleansing, think about how you can create a group that everyone's working together and supporting one another. Okay, so then number 7, are you okay? Number 7, the transition out of a cleanse is just as important as the cleanse itself. This we really cannot emphasize enough. It's something that is really, really problematic in the way that it's overlooked in modern cleansing protocols. So often we see, people taking these harsh, supplements or depriving themselves of so many foods. And then the minute the cleanse is over, it's really, you're diving right back into eating whatever you were eating before. And this can actually cause a lot of harm. And the way we see cleansing is that it's about making way for rejuvenation, which is this method through which resiliency gets bolstered. But in order to get to the point where you can really be bolstering your resiliency, it is imperative that the toxins are cleared, the digestive fire is strong, and that you rebuild with intention. That's because the digestive system is highly sensitive post-cleanse, and what you introduce to your system immediately after the cleanse is actually what you will crave going forward. And we have made this mistake ourselves, and we've experienced firsthand what can happen if you're not intentional with the reintegration. Yeah. So this post-cleanse phase is really an opportunity to set yourself up for success. And moving with intention will really set you up to eat intuitively, to be able to trust your cravings, to process varied foods with ease, and really to just feel vital as you emerge back into your life. And again, on the flip side, if you move through this reintegration phase hastily or skip it, as so many, as I said, modern cleansing protocols do, you could end up with really intense digestive discomfort. Maybe some of you have experienced that in the past coming off of a cleanse. Imbalanced cravings where you start craving a ton more sugar than you did before. And the worst, and we've seen it happen, is new food allergies. Like your body's very sensitive in this moment. Your digestive tract is very sensitive. You need to be careful about what you put in there. If you can really leverage this transition out of the cleanse and create build slowly your resiliency through a process of rejuvenation, that's when you're going to create that strong immunity, which is also, enhanced fertility, enhanced libido, good stamina, things like shiny hair, lustrous eyes, good memory, and just an overall sense of blissful energy. Some of these promises that are made when it comes to cleansing, those are what are available in that post-cleanse period. It's just as important. Yeah.
That's right. That is right. Hello, everyone. I'm back. Okay. Number 8, you cannot have an effective cleanse without a commitment to care and slowing down and rest as well. So we see this a lot where people are working at full capacity and then they're just going to like do a juice cleanse real quick. And then they're super hangry at work. They have a hard time focusing. They crash, throughout the day. And what's happening is that they're not having an effective cleanse. You might as well just skip the juice and continue working your day-to-day life, because the healing can't go deep into the body if you are not allowing yourself to drop into a more parasympathetic state that comes from care, slowing down, and rest. And when it comes to self-care and body care specifically, appropriate body care rituals, when woven into a cleansing routine, can actually help dislodge the toxins and carry them out, while also relieving stress, improving skin, and supporting digestion. So very important to weave body care in, right? Effective cleansing is not just about food and supplements. So we have care, we have slowing down. If you are operating at full capacity, like I mentioned, not only is your cleanse not going to be effective, but it can actually cause the toxins to go deeper into the tissues. Because when your body is in that kind of stress, fight or flight state, cleansing the deep tissues is just not a priority, right? That's survival. So make sure that you can bring yourself out of that survival state that we exist in so much when we're going nonstop, so that you can have real results and deep healing throughout the body. Rest is another huge component of an effective cleanse, because just similar to slowing down, it's where the real healing and also rejuvenation happens. Specifically, rejuvenation of the mind happens when we rest. That could be a nap, that could be getting more sleep at night, that could be just committing to doing less, to doing nothing. And this can actually give way to more inspiration and imagination.
There's really a theme here that you might be feeling, which is that it's really about allowing your body, creating space for your body to actually do its own cleansing. Like, it's not about the inputs even, it's really about giving space to your body for it to heal itself the way that it is built to heal. So number 9 is that it is important to cleanse for the right reasons. So contrary to popular belief, cleansing is not about weight loss, control, or making ourselves small. Okay. We've been battling a little cold over here.
We're almost on the other side, everyone. It's that like post-pandemic travel when everyone's immune systems are so fragile, but we brought all of our herbs and we're moving through it.
So cleansing is really an opportunity to establish a more intentional relationship with food and time in a way that allows your body to heal itself. So some more examples of great reasons to cleanse. If you notice that you're feeling held back by fatigue, brain fog, or low immunity, if you're suffering from frequent digestive discomfort, whether that's constipation, bloating, gas, acidity, or heaviness, or if you find yourself needing to cut out sugar cravings, if you're experiencing ongoing stress, anxiety, or burnout, or if you're struggling with breakouts, rashes, or dull skin. There's also just like, if you know that you're struggling and want to feel better, but you don't know where to start, a cleanse is where to start.
That's right. And so the last point that we really want to make is that cleansing with Ayurveda is different. So when we talk throughout this presentation, we've talked about all these different ways to have a cleanse and an effective cleanse. And what we're really talking about is specifically Ayurvedic cleansing. So what is Ayurveda? Maybe you're new to it. Ayurveda is the ancient medical science of India. It offers a rich, dynamic, and deep body of knowledge that supports holistic wellness on a very deep level. So cleansing the Ayurvedic way is a really balanced and customizable approach to detoxification that emphasizes nourishment over depletion and deprivation. It's generally done through a simplified diet, a series of cleansing therapies, proper hydration, herbal formulas, and a commitment to rest. So many of the things that you've heard us mention today. And by taking yourself through this process, you will not only replenish your body and mind, but you will also restore your body's natural wisdom, which includes the wisdom to heal itself. That includes the wisdom for your body to be able to tell you what it needs.
That's it. So we feel that coming back into right relationship with our bodies is really vital to dismantling dominator culture. And that's why we have become so passionate about cleansing. And that's why it's become such a passion of ours to share this perspective on cleansing, because we feel like there's so much put on us around controlling our bodies inside of capitalism and patriarchy and all other forms of dominator culture, right? And so we want to enable you and our community and the world to come back, like I said, into right relationship with our bodies. And we see this way of bolstering our own body's innate ability to cleanse itself as a really key aspect of that. And so what we have done here with Cultivate Balance and our Ayurveda practice is to work really hard to make this style of cleansing accessible to you, because you may have heard us talking here about all sorts of aspects of cleansing that you're like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to cook those foods. I don't know how to, what self-care practices are you talking about? And so what we have done is created a really beautiful way for you to get started with this type of cleansing from anywhere in the world that you are, which is also a really important part of our mission, to just bring to meet you where you are and to let you know that you don't have to go spend a ton of money to get yourself to some retreat center to make cleansing possible. So what we have for you is a program called the Reset for Resilience. This is an Ayurvedic cleanse and rejuvenation program that it's a 28-day or 4-week program, and it's centered around a 5-day detox. And we walk you through all of the ways to make those foods and do those self-care practices and encourage you to rest in a really beautiful group or community container.
Right, and to offer that accountability that brings momentum and inspiration and connection when it can feel kind of hard to prioritize yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and because cleansing is this seasonal, something that should be done seasonally according to Ayurveda to, as we said, release accumulated ama as well as doshas, we offer this program in April and in October.
That's right.
So that, there's a spring and there's a fall cleanse, and that really is the best time. It's when your body is the most primed. So, if you would like to join us, you can find it on our website at cultivatebalance.com, or on our Instagram at cultivate.balance. And we would love it if you wanted to join us. We are going to drop the link in the chat box right now. So if you'd like to be gently guided through this process to tap into your body's own innate wisdom, just click that link there. We're going to offer $50 off for the next 24 hours. You can use the code ReadyToReset50 right when you click the link and click sign up. This is going to expire at midnight tomorrow. So,
and we're not Really offering discounts on the program otherwise. So this is kind of the moment, and otherwise it's a set price. And so just know that this is your opportunity if that discount appeals to you.
The reason we're not offering a ton of discounts is because we have poured an unbelievable amount of life force into creating a program that is so thoughtful and so well articulated and so well laid out, so that it's easy for you, so that you can just fully relax into feeling supported through a really nourishing Ayurvedic model of cleansing.
And we have intentionally set the price point to be accessible, so we can't really go any lower. So if you're interested, please invest in yourselves, and we would be so happy to connect with you. And I also just want to say, before we created this program, clients all the time wanted to know about cleansing. People were always asking about cleansing. And I think at least me personally, I had some resistance because of all these things that we've talked about today, that the term cleansing is so loaded and there's so much to explain. And I never want people to feel like they have to deprive themselves or to get into that kind of diet culture mentality. So when we finally said, okay, people are asking for this, what can we create? We sat down and made something that is a program that we would really want to do, and that we would feel really comfortable and excited to share with people that we care about, because we know that it's so safe and nourishing and heart-centered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the really cool thing is that it's a 4-week or 28-day program, but it really gives you some incredible tools, whether that's self-care practices, whether that's recipes, lifestyle, daily routines, ways to set up your day, week, month, like really all of this amazing Ayurvedic lifestyle wisdom that goes far beyond what is just in those 4 weeks, right? Like you're actually getting to learn key Ayurvedic principles and practices and really implement them in your life. And it's the sort of thing where, like, once you know about tongue scraping, you don't go back.
There's no way.
So it's really,
you buy a tongue scraper for everyone in your family.
So it's really, really a good way to invest in yourself in a really long-term way. And if anyone has any questions, we have about 10 minutes left. We'd be happy to answer your questions. We promise we can't promise that we're through our coughing for this little moment. Yeah, fingers crossed. But if you have questions, please ask them. It could be about the program. It could be about cleansing in general. If there's anything that didn't get, that you were wondering about before tonight, but we didn't answer it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything that came up that you related to? Were there any points where you were like, yeah, I did associate cleansing with deprivation. Yeah, I never knew that there were certain times of year where cleansing was most effective, but that makes sense, because by the time spring rolls around, I'm feeling like I want to kind of release this heavy, cloudy energy. What, I'd be curious, what resonated, or what are you still wanting to learn a little more about? Please share. And if you feel satisfied and like you've gotten what you need, thank you so much for being with us. And we hope that you will join us in the future for a program like the Reset for Resilience, or another workshop, or a one-on-one consultation, where we're offering a lot of Ayurveda in different ways. So hopefully we have an offering that suits your needs.
And now we're going to go swallow some honey for our throats.
That's right.
Thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Sending you all love.
We'll give it just a couple more minutes, and if you have any more questions, and otherwise feel free to sign out. Oh, Jamia, I just saw that you were there. Oh, what a joy. Jill, Teresa, Annie, thank you all so much. It looks like we don't have any more questions, so we'll say good night.
See you.